It's interesting to me though, because I don't want to discount any of the combat or horrors that our veterans have seen, but I think our wars, just from a factual perspective, if you look at the data, are less bloody, less catastrophic than they historically have been. I'm wondering why we're committing suicide at rates that we weren't committing after World War One or World War Two or some of these other engagements, like we are modern wars. Do you think it's just the fact that it's been going on for 20 years, or is there something else at play? Maybe some societal factors.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's some societal factors. I mean, for like World War II, yeah, it wasn't nearly as long, but you joined for the duration. World War One was that way. You were in the Pacific as a Marine in the Pacific, or a soldier in Europe. You were in battle after battle after battle. So certainly the amount of combat, the amount of casualties, ability to save casualties. I mean, we had it, good, all things considered. And you were able to be in a level one trauma center, within an hour, right? That was kind of the standard in Iraq and Afghanistan. You could have top surgeons working on you, within an hour, the golden hour, they called it. And they could save almost everybody. You might lose a limb or whatever, but I think a lot of it societal. I think kind of had to do with, World War II was recognized that kind of the fate of the world is at stake. I think, Vietnam was obviously less of a popular war, and there was less understanding of why we were fighting it. And as it went on, there was obviously a lot of probably the sentiment among some soldiers that were fighting it that, hey, we're dying for nothing. What are we even doing here? I certainly think the GWAT started with a really solid purpose, right? Kind of retribution for the World Trade Center attacks. And absolutely a lesson that should have been learned from Vietnam was that, if you don't have the people will support a war if it has a purpose, an end point, an end state. Our job is to do this.
I'd never actually considered that. That is an interesting perspective, is that, maybe the more purpose driven, the more that a soldier or a warrior can connect their assignment and their mission to something that's, morally sustainable or morally righteous, that maybe they're able to cope better with the decisions they've had to make. I do take a little bit of issue, and this is something I've had to work through just as a veteran myself with, what was it a worthy cause? And sometimes when I say things like that, people get mad at me because they think that I'm also knocking veterans who, to your point, and I agree, did a wonderful job with the mission, with the assignment, and with the assets they had at their disposal. I think those are two separate things. And so I question, like, was it, and they should be, like, was that a righteous thing? And also, yes, our warriors did a phenomenal job with what they were assigned to do.